a member of the DMTL, Mr. Edwin Zambara. A very, very solid man indeed. Secretary for Labor and Social Security, a veteran trade unionist, a founder member of the MDC, a veteran negotiator, James Makore. Right now, but comes from Chile in Mashingo. Secretary for Environment and Climatic Change, all the way from Matabeleland South, Miss Sipo Mokone Njov. Secretary for Tourism and Hospitality Management, Miss Jacqueline Zwambila from Chebutu. We have created a Secretary for Diaspora Affairs, Mr. Tonderai Samanyanga. Secretary for Information Communications Technology, a young lady based in South Africa, in the South African province, More Blessings Tembo, comes from Blawayo. Secretary for Parliamentary Affairs, we have segregated legal affairs, legal justice and legal affairs on its own, and then parliamentary affairs. Mr. Anelen Debele, he is a veteran parliamentarian, I think it's in Uveve, Magwegwe, yes, Magwegwe, and he is also a lawyer. Transport and Infrastructure Development. This man is a veteran politician, and if we had our way, if Tsvangirai had his way, he had appointed him. If he had his way, and if it had not been for the intransigence of the former Minister of Local Government, Ignatius Chombo, he would have been the mayor of Chitungwiza. He is a graduate from the University of Zimbabwe, and started with us, the opposition, detained with us in Wawa prison in 1990 and 1991. Isaac Manyemba from Chitungwiza. Secretary for People with Disabilities. We have two people here, and we are making our decision on who deputizes the other. The first one is Mr. Peter Mukuchamano from Harare West. And the second one is Mr. Wenza. From Glenville. Mr. Wenza's disability came as a result of, I think he was shot here at Harvest House. He is now wheelchair bound, but a very, very solid person indeed. Secretary for Welfare, a lady from Mashonaland East, Senator Spiwe Banda, Honorable Spiwe Banda. Defense and related defense and intelligence. We have, this man is based in South Africa. Currently he is in the remand prison. He was arrested on the day of Congress, but he's in remand prison. And you know, an accused is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Sox Chikovero. Secretary for Devolution and Provincial Affairs, another veteran, member of the opposition, and a lady from the Midlands. I think it's Gope or Sanyati, Miss Trena Rojizo. Secretary for Special Projects and Party Business, no rest, Mujamba Jecha Marara. And well, with the responsibility in the national executive, we expect you not to be jumping the Jecha too much. He is a very, very astute businessman. and a logistician. That is his profession. He's a self-made business person, and he hails from Mzimbo area in near Chiweshe there. Secretary for Gender is Miss Isabel Simango. Ladies and gentlemen, there are people that I have not, whose names I have not read, but who are in the national executive already. They remain in the national executive. There are some people whose deployment we are still discussing, and will depend on the reaction of certain leaders to these appointments. You know, some people may say, I'm not interested, then we will put some people who are interested in working. We will be creating special committees to assist these leaders. Again, I want to reiterate that these are interim appointments, and we still are looking at other possibilities, more blessing temple, and so on may need to be deputized, and we will be discussing that. We still have members in the national executive that you may all know about. Mrs. Memory Bondia is there, Besingoma is there, and so on, and all members of the national executive remain. No leader is being removed. So ladies and gentlemen, that completes our announcement of the appointments that we have made in the national executive and the national standing committee. I wish to thank you.
Thank you. Right, thank you. You have heard the inaugural speech by the President, Advocate Dr. Mwonzora. Now I invite questions from the media. You raise your question and you identify yourself. Yes.
Samuel Takawara from 2C3 Chat. I just want to understand, what does Douglas Mwonzora victory at the EOC entail with regards to the leader of the opposition position in Parliament?
Right, we get that one. Implication of the leader of the opposition in Parliament. Questions? Another question?
Yeah.
Yes.
My name is Richard Mpondo from Newsday. I wanted to ask you Simoti, kuti kumpa Sunday wakatika zvakaitika makambofonera were Dr. Kupe muchitaura nawo muchitaka kudiscuss to find a way forward or to find each other. Format.
Thank you, Richard. Another question, Yvonne?
I'm Yvonne,
Then
I'm a
yourself.
freelance journalist. I just wanted to find out, has the $6 million issue been resolved?
Thank you. Yes, question?
Elaine Tally from 263 Church.
Okay.
Given that the individuals that you mentioned to be, for example, Madam Coupe and Engineer Mzuri, including Senator Kumich, they are not in agreement with the outcome of the election. Should they decline your offer, are you going to report them from Parliament?
Thanks. Yes.
Thank you so much. My name is Perfect Shomwane. I have about 3 or so questions. If,
Perfect. How are you?
I'm all right. If I'm allowed to ask them at once. The first one will be, you said in your presentation that you will be working closely with the ruling party, ZANU-PF, and there have been suggestions that especially yourself, you are on the payroll of ZANU-PF. Where does that statement, the one that you made, that you'll be working with ZANU-PF, leave you? And is this a position agreed by your constituencies? That's the first question. The second question will be, obviously there are no disagreements in terms of the outcome of the election at the Extraordinary Congress. Now, you have appointed Dr. Coupe and others who are in disagreement. I wanted to find out from you, why are you rushing to make these appointments and announcements? Because they've also said that they will be taking you to court. Are you not, is it not good that you wait for the court outcome, then you make appointments after that? Then you also spoke about...
That's your last one.
Yeah, you also spoke about the presidium, let me say, to say that you will be in line with the national constitution, appointing 2 vice presidents to the party. This is a government in waiting. People have been complaining about the bloated government. And are you just copying and pasting what ZANU-PF and the government is doing? And do you think this is healthy for a government in waiting?
Thank you. We'll take this round and then do the final round. President.
Oh, thank you very much. The leader of the opposition. Well, the situation is under discussion. We will be making an announcement regarding that. But the fact of the matter is that we have 2 leaders, 3 leaders actually. We have Vice President Coupe in the National Assembly. She will lead in the National Assembly. We have Engineer Mzuri, again subject to the National Council, and of course his attitude towards it. He will be heading the opposition within the Senate. And in the entire administration, in the entire setup, there will be a leader, and that will be myself. But whether it will be the technical leader of the opposition, as you put it, we are discussing that and so on. But I have no intention of victimizing anyone. I have no intention of recalling anybody, unless of course people want to be recalled. But I think that it's not in our name. To be retributive. I know that there were a lot of things that were said, but this was as a result of anger, that was as a result of frustration, and this comes with competition. I think that I must be a very frustrating opponent, and I do understand my opponents when they get frustrated with me and so on. But that is to be expected. I expected people to get angry, but I also expect people to get over it. So we have yet to allow a period of cooling for the Madam Vice President in particular. I know she will cool down. I know that she will come back and assume her responsibilities. I'm sure she knows the enormous responsibilities that are on her shoulders. So to answer the question of whether I did reach out to her, the answer is yes. We have been talking, not very formally, but through some channels, so that we resolve whatever issue was there. The same applies to Engineer Mzuri and Senator Komichi. I will be meeting Senator Komichi sometime today. And we will discuss that. But I want to make one thing clear, and it is that if you look at the figures, after everything is said and done, take them from the figure, and a winner still remains the same. So what my colleagues could have gone through, but I trust that power, that is the type of leadership that we want to bring. So I will be allowed people to criticize me within the party, within the organization, or within the organs of the party. They are free to disagree. That is the leadership we are about to bring. When we talk of democracy, democracy must not be a mere ideal. It is a way of life. It must be a way of life. I want to bring democracy, and I will start with this party. They are free to criticize me, and they will not lose their post by virtue of their criticism of me. Having said that, I encourage leaders to be responsible as well, and make sure that the criticism does not become dysfunctional to the extent of destroying the party. $6 million. There was never $6 million that was stolen. I think the issue of 6 million came as a result of some people trying to gain an advantage at Congress. It was supposed to facilitate an arrest the morning of the Congress. So mention a big figure having been stolen, the candidate will be arrested. So that did not happen, because you don't just arrest. And also the police know that this is a big organization. This is an established organization, 20 years. You cannot have money in the MDC taken or withdrawn on the signature of one person. We countersign in this organization. We have a financial system. We have finance and administration rules. I could tell that some of the leaders who were new did not understand the running of this organization. The accounting system in this organization is that the Secretary General spends and the Treasurer General pays. That is the simple accounting principle that is there. We have finance and administration rules. So the money was never stolen. The breakdown is there. But in order to put the minds of the members of the party to rest, the Extraordinary Congress resolved that there will be an external audit. And this is an audit that we don't control. The external auditors will be appointed by the Secretary General, in consultation with her colleague, the Treasurer General, they will choose an external auditor whom we don't control, and the results of that audit will be made public, should the leaders of this party really want it. So no money was stolen. This was this was simply smear campaign. Then phoning Dr. Kupe, I've already said that I have reached out to Dr. Kupe using other channels. But also we now have a legal opinion from Professor Lahmo Madugu, who is a lawyer for the party. He was representing everyone, he was representing us. He wrote an opinion yesterday. And that opinion settled matters as far as the legitimacy of Sunday's election is concerned. But if people want to go to court, it is their right to go to court. As a lawyer myself, I can't stop people from going to court. But they can go to court and so on. And I am very sure that the court challenge won't succeed. Some people were talking about quorum. They were saying that the Congress did not form a quorum because they were basing it on the number of votes. That is not the correct way of determining quorum, because some of the delegates did not vote, either because they were disqualified, or because they were not on the voters roll, or because they simply got fed up by what was going on and went away. So the number of votes does not determine the quorum. It's a mistake that my friend, I think it's Dr. Alex Magaisa, is making. And I just urge him to be more responsible and to do more research when it comes to these things. A quorum is determined by the number of people who attend a meeting at the beginning of that meeting and not at the end of that meeting. So you can see that some provinces voted at 1 a.m. Some people had left, some lactating mothers had left, some people with the spouses who are very jealous had left. So that's not how we determine quorum. Again, some were saying that delegates who were not supposed to vote voted. Now this is a very old story. Fortunately, at the beginning of this election, some of my colleagues, my contestants, were asked by Blessed Mshana. I realize he's not around today. Oh, is he there? He is my witness. He did pose a question to all the candidates on whether they were happy with the voters' roll. And all of them said they were happy with the voters' roll. The voters' roll doesn't become bad because the election is turning topsy-turvy. The problem with this election was the size of the ballot paper. With the size of the ballot paper, people could estimate where the voter was placing their ballot. If it was at the top, it was Madam Kupe. If it was at the bottom, it was myself. And when the bottom started prevailing, then we had these problems. But ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, I also want to say, on a serious note, these were the same delegates that decided matters between myself and Advocate Chamisa in 2014. They simply came and voted me again. That should not surprise anybody. I did score very well in Matabeleland South. I had 64% of the vote in Matabeleland South. In Bulawayo, 30%. In Matabeleland North, 50-50. And therefore, I do not understand. I think the vote was spread nationally. So I think I've answered all the questions.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. The old story, I am not on the payroll of ZANU-PF. I don't need to be on the payroll of ZANU-PF at all. This is what opponents who are trying to discredit you do. I do not become a member of ZANU-PF because I've disagreed with you. I was a good member of this party until I disagreed with certain people after the coming in of the Supreme Court judgment. And because of that, I suddenly, in their estimation, became ZANU-PF. Those people who are accusing me of that know for certain that I am not. But people do these things as part of mudslinging and so on. So we will be redressing that, and you will see for yourselves. This country will see for itself whether I am ZANU-PF or not. I'm now the leader of this party. The direction that this party will take will answer all these questions. At any rate, when we say we want to work with the ruling party, it does not mean that we want to be part of the ruling party. We want to work with them. They are a government. We want to take them to account, and we can only take them to account when we interact with them. We interact with them in parliament already, so we work with them in parliament. We interact with them in local government, so we work with them in local government. We shadow some of their ministers. By the way, in January we will be appointing a shadow cabinet. That shadow cabinet, the ministers, our ministers will be interacting with ministers in government as part of the shadowing, as part of opposition. Opposition parties work with the ruling parties. It is the nature of the relationship that differs. Our relation will be non-toxic. We do not believe that in order to be an effective opposition, we must be insulting the opponent. We don't believe in that. We believe that you can be effective if you are even if you are factual. You can be effective even if you are non-insulting. Our leadership will not insult anyone, but it will be an effective opposition, and we promise our people, the Zimbabwean people, that working together with ZANU-PF does not mean working for ZANU-PF.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Doc. The issue of the two VPs, sorry, I'd left that out, sorry. You see, the national constitution has two vice presidents. It does not have three. Remember the MDC under Dr. Changrai and Dr. Chamisa and Advocate Chamisa had three vice presidents, and that did not have any precedent. But we have a national constitution, and we want to establish a shadow cabinet. So, shadow national president, shadow vice presidents who will shadow the two who are there. That is the logic behind the other vice president. It is contained in the national constitution. But this is my proposal to the National Council. It is free to direct as it wishes. But I thought that I should make it public, that if I get go-ahead from the National Council, as well as from the legal expertise, my proposal will be for Engineer Elias Mwonzora, because of certain attributes that I see as a leader, I see in him. And of course, subject to his attitude towards it.
Okay, thanks. We shall take the final round of questions. Yes?
The issue of Poland, have you taken a position?
Thank you. Next. I don't have my glasses, so raise your hand. Yes. Aban. Yes.
My name is Lucy Yasin. I'm a freelance journalist. You just said you are going to consult with the National Council.
Can you speak up, Lucy?
I'm saying you are saying you are going to consult in consultation with the National Council over the appointments of the two VPs. But I want to know, what does the Constitution as a party say?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Yes,
I'd like to ask if,
identify yourself.
because I said ZDC is online. I'd like to ask if there is any hope in terms of reaching out to the MDC alliance under Nasser Sharif as well, for the talking interacting maybe mentioned something.
Thank you. We shall allow the president to answer this last round of questions and end there. Thank you.
As the MDC, we stand for national dialogue and reconciliation. We have National Council resolutions on that. We have Congress resolutions, the previous Congress, that is 2014. It is the nature may differ on, but the principle of dialogue is agreed within the MDC. We were supposed to settle the issue of dialogue at the extraordinary Congress on Sunday. Unfortunately, because of the events that took place, we were unable to deal with that issue. That will be decided before we make a pronouncement by the National Council when we sit in January. But certainly we will have a settled answer regarding that. I don't want to preempt the National Council. But one thing I can confirm is that we are for national dialogue. There are processes that we have to take that involve the National Council. A president is allowed to make proposals in what he thinks is in the best interest of the party to a higher organ, that is the National Council. This National Council will be sitting as an extension of Congress to complete the unfinished business of Congress. And that issue will be put there. You may know that the issue of the S in the MDC constitution when it comes to vice presidents was decided upon by the Supreme Court. And it is up to the National Council to clarify on that issue. But this is an issue that I said is in the hands of our legal experts. It will be in the hands of the National Council. But there is no question on who takes over in the event that the president is away. It is Dr. Kupe, because we have settled this by saying this is Vice President number 1, the first Vice President. This is Vice President number 2. They don't rank the same. So I think that, I hope that the leaders will find it within their stride. They are in agreement on something. Dr. Kupe and Engineer Mzuri, I aid them to be in agreement on this one as well. But this is going to be decided by the National Council. But I just hope that the National